regional economic and social development, exacerbating intercommunal conflicts and undermining political stability and public safety, all with devastating consequences for people and the communities in both rural and urban areas. Since assuming office, I have witnessed both the potential of our work and the immense challenges that lie ahead. It has become even more evident that our success hangs on the strength of our collaboration, the resources we mobilize, and the support we garner from each member state. Today, as we discuss critical points of our agenda, I invite each one of you to consider the pivotal role you play in steering RECSA toward a more effective future. Chief guest, allow me to outline the strategic objective that will guide my tenure since I took the office. First, strengthening collaboration and the partnership. Our goal is to foster deeper cooperation with member states, international organizations, and the civil society. Two, innovation and research. Data-driven insights are essential for sound decision-making. We must advance RECSA's research capabilities, particularly to adapt the emerging trends in arms control, like digital traceability and advanced stockpile security measures. Three, advocacy and awareness. We must heighten awareness on the devastating impact of illicit small arms. I urge each of you to amplify RECSA's message within your government, promoting policy support and regional unity. In this regard, I encourage more RECSA member states to endorse the Silencing the Gun initiative, which is a flagship of the African Union Commission. I also urge states to consider ratifying, acceding to the Armed Trade Treaties, as well as global framework on conventional ammunition management recently adopted by the UN General Assembly. Four, resource mobilization. Securing sustainable funding is imperative for our mission. Beyond contributions, we must explore partnerships, grants, and innovative finance options that will assure our endurance. Five, capacity building. RECSA must continue investing in training and technical support for our member states, especially with the emergence of new threats and the technologies on arms control. Finally, inclusion of special interest groups in small arms control. In line with the RECSA gender policy, we commit to assuring that gender perspectives are integrated across our program. The voices of experience of women, men, youth, and the marginalized communities are vital in the fight against illicit arms. However, to fully realize this objective, our Secretariat must be strengthened. Today, I appeal to each of you to support the RECSA Secretariat in enhancing its effectiveness and impact. Our Secretariat requires both human and financial resources to operate at full potential. Additionally, as we review the agreement establishing RECSA, let us seize this opportunity to embed provisions that support a well-resourced, efficient secretariat. Our world is changing rapidly, and the nature of arms control is evolving with it by incorporating measures for adaptability, accountability, and the technological advancement in the revised agreement. We position RECSA as a leader in addressing both current and emerging challenges in arms control. I would like to highlight the pressing need for all member states to ratify the Nairobi Protocol as directed by the 10th Council of Ministers. The protocol is a fundamental to our work and underscores our commitment to regional peace. To those member states that are yet to ratify it, I call upon you to honor this directive. Let us move forward with a unified voice and vision, demonstrating our collective resolve to tackle the proliferation of small arms and the light weapon in our region. Since stopping in this role, I have engaged a very high-level meeting with regional and international partners to ratify our network and gather support. I am pleased to report that this collaboration with the multiple organizations, including the African Union, UN agencies, and the various governments. These discussions have already resulted in commitment to finding technical assistance and the joint programming which will strengthen our capability to implement sustainable arms management and control solutions. Our partnership with entities like Interpol, UNODA, and key donor government demonstrate the confidence the international community placed in RECSA's work. I'm committed to nurturing these relationships and forging new ones to ensure we have the support necessary to achieve our goal. Today, as we address the item, I ask each of you to consider the potential, the course of our region history by providing the Secretariat with the means to operate effectively, by ensuring your member state to fulfill the commitment, and by strengthening our institutional framework, we will be able to make meaningful progress. Together, let us move forward with purpose, unity, and the shared dream of a peaceful, secure, and stable region for all. I look forward to achieving great things together. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Mr. Jean-Pierre. Thank you very much, sir. Next, Your Excellency, allow me to now invite Dr. Raymond Omolo, Principal, the the chair of the Technical Advisory Committee. Tumpigie makofi.
Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, the Executive Secretary of REXA, my colleague, Principal Secretary or Permanent Secretary in charge of Security, Republic of Uganda, Lieutenant General Joseph, the IG of Police, Douglas Kanja, Republic of Kenya, the Deputy Minister in charge of security from Sudan, Mangar Buong, the Commissioner of Police in charge of operations, Republic of Rwanda, Rumanzi George, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Charles from Uganda, Ambassador Ruzan, Ambassador of Eritrea to Kenya, and the Deputy IG of Djibouti, Colonel Omar. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. Your Excellency, I'll make brief remarks before I invite you to speak to us in your capacity as the chair of the Council of Ministers of REXA. One is to say that the Regional Center on Small Arms, which is REXA, is an international organization established to address proliferation of illicit trafficking of small arms and light weapons within the Great Lakes region, the Horn of Africa, and also the bordering states. REXA comprises of 15 member states, namely Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Central African Republic, Djibouti, Eritrea, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan. And the whole week, we've had representation from all these member states, beginning with the National Focal Point Persons Forum and ending with the Technical Advisory Committee, which I chair. Now, the key objectives of REXA under the Nairobi Protocol, which was set up close to 20 years ago, was to help in the prevention and reduction of small arms and light weapons in the Great Lakes region and the Horn of Africa. REXA enhances regional peace and security by facilitating coordination and implementation of measures to combat the spread of small arms through a number of interventions. One, of course, is the implementation of the Nairobi Protocol, which assists members within that protocol. Number two is to promote uniform legislation or policies, again, to help in the prevention and to combat proliferation of small arms. Number three is capacity building, so that then the various government institutions of member states are capacitated to manage small arms effectively. And number four is to raise awareness on the risks associated with small arms and light weapons while advocating for the disarmament efforts. So far, as prescribed by REXA as a country, Kenya is nearing completion of its ambitious marking of firearms and ammunition. Within the National Police Service, we are at 98%. Within our Kenya Defense Forces, we are at 70%. And we have similarly collected in excess of 2,000 illicit firearms in the last 3 years. Over 300,000 illicit firearms across the member states have equally been destroyed since the establishment of REXA. In 2023, Kenya assumed the chairmanship of the Council of Ministers responsible for internal security. Now, in today's deliberations and the conversations that we've been having throughout the week, we have convened the 15th Technical Advisory Committee, and there have been preliminary sessions involving the national focal point coordinators from the member states. And these sessions have culminated in today's meeting, which is being attended by the permanent or principal secretaries, the inspector generals of police, as well as the national focal point persons, so as to review and consider the reports that will be tabled today. Through this forum, we have been able to validate the regional action plan on weapons and ammunition management, which aims to integrate the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration efforts. We've also been able to establish the regional harmonized reporting tool that transitions from the manual to electronic record keeping in the management of weapons to enhance transparency, standardization, and accountability in small arms and light weapons control. We'll also be able to adopt the Executive Secretary's report for the period June 2023 to November 2024. We've also been able to review the proposed amendments to the establishment of REXA agreement for the member states, so that then we'll be able to give this feedback in March of 2025 next year. We expect to also finally have the financial and annual reports and the work plans stroke budget for the 2024-25 to 2025-26 approved. And finally, we'll be able to discuss options for addressing the financial gaps and also to look at ways of diversifying the funding mechanisms so that we are able to sustain the operations of REXA. Your Excellency, with those many remarks, may I request colleagues in the room to be upstanding as I welcome you to make your remarks. Let's give His Excellency the PCS a round of applause.
Thank you. Please be seated. The Executive Secretary of REXA, the Chair, TAC, the Principal Secretaries present, the Inspector General, Mr. Douglas Kanja, and your colleague Inspector Generals and police chiefs from the member states, development partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It is my honor to address you today and officially welcome you to the great country, Kenya, as we gather here for the 15th REXA Technical Advisory Committee meeting. I am mindful of the critical work that lies ahead of us in addressing the persistent challenge of small arms and light weapons proliferation in the Great Lakes region and Horn of Africa. Looking at the agenda before us, we can see the gravity of the security situation in our region. The overview of the security status highlights the devastating impact that unregulated flow of illicit small arms continues to have, fueling armed conflicts, illegal exploitation of natural resources, terrorism, cattle rustling, and other serious crimes. These destabilizing forces are undermining the peace, security, and development of all our states. In reviewing the status of implementation of previous Council of Ministers resolutions, we must recommit ourselves to the principles and objectives of the Nairobi Declaration and the Nairobi Protocol. The agreement establishing RECSA clearly outlines our shared responsibility to identify and prioritize areas of common interventions. Ladies and gentlemen, I call on all RECSA member states to redouble their efforts and support towards the effective implementation of the Nairobi Protocol. This includes the following. 1, strengthening cooperation and information sharing between our governments, as well as with regional and international partners. The RECSA Secretariat plays a critical coordinating role that we must empower. Aligned to this are the objectives of the Nairobi Protocol, particularly Article 2, which calls for enhanced regional cooperation, information sharing, capacity building, and policy harmonization. 2, investing in national control mechanisms and stockpile management systems to ensure the responsible and accountable control of state-held small arms. Securing our weapons stockpiles is crucial to stemming the diversion of arms into illicit channels. We appreciate the RECSA Secretariat for spearheading the regional physical stockpile management training of trainers. Third, enhancing regional harmonization of small arms policies, legislation, and regulatory frameworks. Begins with strong, comprehensive national laws that align with the Nairobi Protocol. These laws must provide a framework for arms control and impose penalties on illicit arms trafficking and possession. The Technical Advisory Committee should drive this agenda forward by empowering the Secretariat to undertake collective research, analysis, and policy development. Fourth, mobilizing adequate and sustained financial and technical resources to fund RECSA's vital work and programs. I urge member states to fulfill their financial obligations. In this regard, I appreciate the development partners, donors, and civil societies for their great support to RECSA and member states towards implementation of small arms and light weapons control. The challenges we face are significant, but our shared resolve to secure peace and stability in this region must be strengthened. The Nairobi Protocol embodies a vision of cooperation, shared values, and collective action. Let us commit ourselves today to honor the vision, not just through words, but through actions and policies. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore declare this meeting now officially open. I will not be with you much longer because I have to go somewhere else, but let me just reaffirm that we welcome you here and we all look forward to your collective wisdom and recommendations as we move forward in tackling matters of security in our respective countries and in the region. God bless you all and have a successful conversation. Thank you.
That you hand over some of the reports, so if we can move the podium, we'll hand over the reports to the the countries that are part of it, the Technical Advisory Committee Chair, to flank you as we do that. So we'll start with Burundi to come and receive the report. Burundi, a representative from Burundi, followed by Central African Republic, next is Central African Republic, then Djibouti, after Djibouti we have DRC, Eritrea, and I'll request we don't go too far because we'll do a group photo after this. Eritrea, followed by, after Eritrea we have Ethiopia, after Eritrea, then we have Rwanda, followed by Somalia, then South Sudan, will be followed by Tanzania, and after Tanzania we have Uganda, then the last one will be to Kenya. Kenya is already on stage. Thank you, Excellency. Hand to the Inspector General Kanja. Wonderful. Thank you, Excellency. And with that, we'll request that all the do a group photo. Your Excellency, I'll request that maybe we take one step down so that we have two steps with His Excellency in the middle. Yes. All those who've received, the states that have received, kindly, if we can just come. And the next lot to just be at the back. After this photo, we'll then allow His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary to retreat as we'll be guided on the next session's proceedings. A smile. Wonderful. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'll request that we all be upstanding as we allow His Excellency at his own pleasure, and the rest of us will remain in the room as we'll be guided on the we'll proceed after. Your Excellency. We will take our seat.